Thank you, Deep Roy Clywyd, and I'd like to start by thanking my colleague Jack Sargent for bringing forward this debate today, as I think it's extremely important that petitions like this do come forward into the Chamber to help us really focus our minds on the issues that affect animal welfare in Wales. In the course of this petition, I have visited Hope Rescue, I have spoken with JBGB, and I have met with several other organisations, all of which represent both sides of the argument. But the issue is, as with most things, not as clear-cut as we would like it to be. Yeah. Charities such as Hope Rescue and Greyhound Racing Wales have worked exceptionally hard over the years to engage with Valley Greyhound Track in order to improve the welfare standards of greyhounds racing there, and have met with little success. They have identified aspects of the track that are dangerous and can cause serious injury to greyhounds. They have repeatedly called for veterinary cover for every race, and have cared for, sometimes at an enormous expense to themselves, greyhounds that have been seriously injured or have been abandoned. I therefore completely understand why they would call for an outright ban of greyhound racing in Wales. However, what concerns me is that if there was an outright ban, this doesn't automatically improve the welfare of greyhounds. In fact, there's an argument that it doesn't improve greyhound welfare at all. All those owners or breeders that commit animal abuse or have poor welfare standards for their animals will simply no longer be visible and will go underground. They will also have no qualms whatsoever with destroying their animals.
Joel, will you take an intervention?
Oh, yes.
Just wanted to make the point in terms of the sport going underground. I was wondering if the member realises the size of the track and the size of the ground you would need to be able to race greyhounds, essentially, and if you'd be able to explain how that would be able to be hidden.
Very next paragraph, sorry, to Roy Clywyd. So where am I now? So there is nothing stopping them from having illegal races, from using disused warehouses to setting up temporary tracks, whether straight courses or bends in isolated fields, which will be even worse for those animals racing, and their illegal nature will mean that their owners will never ever seek veterinary care for them. And whilst there may be some who will say that this will never happen, just by looking at the extent of illegal dog fighting in the UK tells us otherwise. Dog fighting is still prolific in this country, even though it was banned in 1835. Indeed, between 2015 and 2020, the RSPCA had more than 9,000 reports of organised fighting in the United Kingdom. And even though the maximum jail sentence is 6 years and 5 months, the people who carry out these dog fights just simply don't care. And I fear that greyhound racing in Wales has potential to follow suit. Speaking with GBGB representatives, I've learned how track registration improves the welfare of greyhound racing, because it's compulsory for every race to have veterinary care. Owners and racers have a duty to meet welfare standards, which are monitored, and there are well-funded rehoming programs if animals are injured or can no longer race. I'm not saying that this model is perfect or that Valley Track should be GBG registered instead of being closed. I instead think that there needs to be a proper investigation into all aspects of greyhound racing in Wales by the Welsh Government, covering ownership, breeding, transportation, racing, and even aftercare. More engagement needs to happen with GBGB, and independent analysis of the implications of a phased or outright ban has to happen, especially in terms of animal welfare. My particular issue and concern here is that the Petitions Committee, of which I am a part of, have not done sufficient due diligence in order to make the recommendations that they've made in their report. As a committee that is recommending a phased ban, we haven't even visited a greyhound racetrack, registered or unregistered, and we have taken no evidence whatsoever from those countries or governments that have already banned greyhound racing, which would have given us better idea of the unintended consequences.
We do the intervention, Joel.
Oh, yeah.
Do you understand that Wales and the United Kingdom is an outlier globally, and that even the United States, in 41 states, has banned greyhound racing? And do you not understand that by banning greyhound racing, you will eliminate immediate suffering, and you will also go a huge way to eliminating illegal trade from Northern Ireland?
Well, my concern, as mentioned earlier in the thing, is if we ban greyhound racing, the concerns that we have in terms of the welfare standards are done by those who have no care whatsoever for their animals. So if we ban greyhound racing, the concern that I have, we will see a lot of dogs put down. And that is why what I'm saying is that much more needs to be done to investigate the implications of such a ban, and why taking evidence from those countries who have banned the sport would have been crucial in making a recommendation. I acknowledge that this is an emotive subject and opinions will be guided depending on experience. Some members of the committee have had that first-hand experience, whether by adopting former race dogs or even by growing up in a greyhound racing environment, and I fully understand and respect their point of views. However, when discussing an issue such as this, opinions need to be objective and independent, and I well understand that some members here might not like hearing that, but it's true. So, Deep Cloud, whatever happens here today and whatever the result, I hope that members and the government will understand that from an animal welfare point of view, considerably much more work needs to be done. Thank you.